This is the YouTube edition of my book, A Course in Miracles Workbook Nuggets, which is a study aid for the course's workbook for students. I'll begin by reading my book's commentary on today's lesson over a visual of the book's text. I'll then return with some further thoughts on the lesson, which are only included in this YouTube edition of my book. Today's lesson is part of a 10-lesson group that runs from lesson 331 through lesson 340, each of which relates to the ego as understood in the course. I'll be repeating this same introduction for each of lessons 331 through 340, so you can skip past this introduction in the future if you like. Timestamps taking you directly to today's Workbook Nuggets commentary and my further comments are provided in the description below. In the course, the ego is our belief that we are separate and limited bodies with independent minds and wills. The ego is not a real entity, but an illusory, mistaken identity that we believe to be us. The introduction, which precedes these 10 lessons, tells us that, quote, "To know reality is not to see the ego," end quote. Today's lesson from my book and my further thoughts, which are only contained in this YouTube edition of the book, follow. A link to the book on Amazon.com is provided below. Lesson number 332, November 28. Fear binds the world, forgiveness sets it free. To have freedom, which is freedom of mind, you need to give freedom. If you perceive an ugly and conflicted world, that is what you experience. How could you possibly be joyful when that is the world you see? Your perception is your experience. See beauty and love, and you experience light and happiness. See danger and strife, and you are buried in fear and darkness. The Course tells us that the only reality is love. The workbook teaches us how to see beyond the, quotes, world to love. The word the Course uses to describe such looking beyond to the reality underneath is forgiveness. The title of today's lesson is Fear Binds the World, Forgiveness Sets It Free. The Course teaches us that there are only two emotions, love and fear. It also tells us that if you have fear, you will see, project it into the world you see. This is how, as the lesson tells us, fear binds the world. But the lesson also tells us that forgiveness sets it free. Recall that in the Course, forgiveness is looking beyond the illusion to the reality, the pure love beyond. When we look through the surface sins and injustices of people and our world, we see only light and love. The sins and injustices exist only in the physical, the illusion. In the spiritual reality, we are being trained to see there is only love. Forgiveness, seen beyond the illusion, sets us free.